Okay, hello everybody. My name's Jameson Young with Self-Conflicted. Recently I started working at this town called Campo California, and I noticed that half the town looked like an abandoned military base. From there, I found out it was an abandoned military base completely shut down in 1946, and it was home of the last Buffalo Soldiers, slash, i.e. the last all-black cavalry unit. So I'm going to read you a little description of this place, and then from there we're going to take a beaming tour. You'll understand what I mean by a beaming tour in a second. But let me read this description of this place. Camp Lockett, that's the name of the town in that's the name of the old military base in Campo, California. Camp Lockett was a United States Army military post located in Campo, California, east of San Diego and north of the Mexican border. Camp Lockett has historical connections to the Buffalo Soldiers due to the 10th and 28th Cavalry Regiment. Having been garrisoned there in World War II, it was named in honor of Colonel James R. Lockett, who fought in the Spanish-American War. Okay, so that's just like the first paragraph of Wikipedia. From there, like I said, we're gonna go there. We gotta give you that beaming tour. So here we go. Hey, this is the southern half of Campo, California, and like as I was saying, you can see all the houses are old squad bays. They're from the Camp Lockett days where the Buffalo Soldiers used to live in here. And like if you ever been to a military base, all the squad bays all have like stairwells going up the side. And yeah, like there must be like, I don't know, like 10 of the things. So anyway, I'll go out in some place that's a little more out in the middle of nowhere next time. But yeah, there's neighbors out, so I can't show you the best part of this stuff. But I'll show you the theater next, through the wormhole. Okay, I hope I'm in focus. Anyway, this back here is the old movie theater that the Buffalo Soldiers used to go to. I didn't know it until I went in there and started exploring around. So I'll take you guys into this is the old movie theater. Here we go. Hello. See, up here, I'll show you up here is the theater area. This is the old Camp Lockett theater. Probably a lot of John Wayne seen in here, considering it was primarily used in the 40s. But this is where the Buffalo Soldiers went and watch their movies. But I'm also going to show you upstairs. There's the old projector rooms. First, maybe we'll explore around in there. Gotta get a jump for this beam. So this is the old theater once again, obviously. Since I'm on the stage, I want to show you the back end. That's the projector room. I'll beam over there. Here you go. Just like Patrick Swayze. Not really. Okay. This is the back of the theater. I think this is both the projector room on the bottom, and there's projector things where they used to stick the projectors out up top. Now watch this, watch this. Oh, bet you didn't see that one coming. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab the other camera. I'm gonna beam down there. Although I'm not seeing any anything of the Buffalo Soldiers era, but there are lots of. There's 1951. Another 1951. Charles Nitz came 1951 March and left 1951 December. The place was obviously in use. Oh, there's a 1951 actually. The place, Alan Fox, 1951. So for some reason, oh, here's a 1953. So I don't know what, but the place was being used in the 50s. I guess for a theater. I don't know what else they'd use it, but anyway, this is the old projector room. Obviously, things are looking pretty bad. Here's some other important buildings. I don't know why they're important, but they look important. All up and down this hill. Helicopters coming in, it's gonna get loud. All up and down this hill, there's old military bases, military buildings. And right there's the projector room. The balcony has since fallen, so no more walking out on the balcony. Okay, hello. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Les. Yeah, this is Les. We're outside the Camp Lockett Museum. Now, I kind of like this beaming stuff. I feel like Captain James T. Kirk on the Enterprise now. Yeah, my name's Les. I'm with the Camp Lockett Events and Question Facility. And Camp Lockett was the last military installation that was built during the World War II era for horse soldiers. One of the last units to be stationed here before the Army said the horse soldiers obsolete was the 10th Cavalry, or one of the original Buffalo Soldier units from 1866. Camp Lockett was about 7,000 acres. Well, once they completed it, some of it was on private land. So when the Army left, they had to tear everything down and turn everything back to their natural state. But what I call beautiful downtown Campo, which you've probably getting a little tour about, a lot of those old buildings were actually part of the Army base back then.
That's good. Let's beam out.
Okay. So originally when they first started Camp Lockett, they had the 11th Cavalry came up from down in our desert in 1940, and they were here till 1942, where they were sent to fight in Europe. And then they brought the 10th Cavalry, the Buffalo Soldiers, from Fort Leavenworth, Kansas to Camp Lockett. Upon their arrival here, they realized that the area they had to patrol, which is a few hundred miles on horseback, they didn't have enough for a regiment, so they made a brigade. So they formed the 28th Cavalry Regiment, which is also comprised mostly of the black soldiers. And that was the last horse cavalry unit that was ever designated for use in the Army. 1944, the Army said the horse soldiers obsolete, so they disbanded them. That's when they built what they call Phase 3, which is some H-shaped buildings kind of west of us, and that was the first convalescent hospital that was ever built. It was Mitchell Convalescent Hospital. Also, one unique thing about Camp Lockett was this was the last military installation that was ever built for cavalry horse soldiers. These here are the last versions of the McClellan saddles. So your World War II era cavalry soldiers would use this type of saddle. In 1940 and 1944, this was an officer saddle. It was a Phillips saddle. And this saddle here was used to train soldiers to ride with. And also sometimes they would have like a equestrian team that would participate in Olympics and stuff like that. So they would use this as kind of an English style saddle. Over on this table we have some of the little artifacts from the World War II era. This here is the commissioned officer's rank structure. The green is a wool, so that's kind of for a winter uniform. The tan is a lighter material. That was a summer uniform. This one over here, it has kind of different little insignia on it. This is actually for what they call a warrant officer. So he's not a commissioned officer, but he's a warrant officer. So he's kind of between a a non-commissioned officer enlisted, and a commissioned officer. Over here we have the rank structure of chevrons that the enlisted would wear, with the private first class, corporal, sergeant, so on and so forth. Also up here we have some different artifacts. This horseshoe was found over by the veterinarian stables down by the Railroad Museum, so that was been here since the 1940s. Over here, this is what they call their combat gear that they would have used back in the World War II era, with the 45 M1 Grand. You have the Thompson machine guns. And this one here was more of the commercial, like you'd see the gangsters like in the Al Capones in the 1920s. So, yeah, back then it was kind of strange how they did things. Like the officers didn't get issued their uniforms, they had to buy them. So you can find, if you research and go back, you can find different places where they would make the different type uniforms and stuff. And these here are actual ammo cans for the M1 Grand ammunition from back in the World War II era. This up here, this is a fighting knife, and this was actually given to us by a gentleman by the name of Gene Vick. Lives up here, and this was actually used by the cavalry when they were up here in the World War II era. And this is the early stage of World War II type pack that they would carry their gear in when they went to combat. And this is the later version that came towards the end of World War II. And they also used that during the Korean War and the Vietnam War era. Got 'em. Over here we have the statue of the horse. And this is the horse blanket used to keep the horse warm. This here is a bucket that the soldiers would carry to feed the horses in the field, so they couldn't like graze on grass, so they would put like oats and grain and stuff like that to feed the horses. These here two are water buckets that they used to water the horses with. And this is actually a canvas saddlebag they had back in the World War II era. And we have the old-fashioned bedpan, the dreaded bedpan. You're probably wondering what they've got the blue coat for with the PW on there. What happened during World War II, we were fighting in Italy, so they had a prisoner of war camp up in the Riverside area called Camp Han. Well, they had a satellite office down here, so they actually had prisoners down here. Stone structures, little walls and steps and that you see around here at Campo, they built that. They worked at the hospital as orderlies. They did ground maintenance. No fences because there was no place for them to run. They were so far away from Italy. And actually a few of them would work at some of the local businesses in town here and make extra money. Some of them, after the war was over, some of them remained here in the United States. A friend of mine that lives up here that's also part of the Camp Lockett equestrian facility up here, his chiropractor is a son from that. Really? His father was a POW and his mother was working up here. They fell in love and got married. Really? So funny how that worked. And like I said, some of them decided that they would have a better life here in America, so they stayed after World War II was over. This is a statue of a buffalo, and the 10th Cavalry used it as their logo. So basically they have a unit logo, and below it they had a little scroll that said ready forward on it. And back in World War II, they used to wear a shoulder device with a little pin, and this is what they look like. So anytime you research the 10th Cavalry unit, you'll probably see pictures of the buffalo soldier, or the buffalo here with the little logo on it. Like their counter one was the 9th Cavalry, which was also formed in 1866. And also you'll probably see some pictures of a stone plaque that was dedicated to the Camp Lockett facility here by a group called the Clampers. And once an area has been designated as a historical land site, the Clampers, they come in and build the monuments, and they get the bronze plaques and everything and put it up so you've got an official recorded historical marker on that. So we appreciate the Clamper organization throughout California and Arizona and a few other states that go around and do this. They're nonprofit and they do it for free.
You good?
And that's good.
Okay. We're going to beam out now. I want to thank Les. This is really nice of him. Anyway, here we go.